Happy Victoria Day weekend, everybody. It's Jenn from Macreath. It is May 2025. And for the second time in 6 months, we are looking at a work stoppage in Canada Post, which is really, really frustrating for someone who uses this service to send small items on a regular basis through the mail. Yes, my day job doesn't pay me enough money to cover the bills, so we do a little selling on eBay on the side. A few hockey cards go out now and then. Now, it's one thing to sell a big box like that. You're going to spend $20 or $30 shipping that, whether you use Canada Post or use somebody else, private. But when you're talking about maybe one single card that's really beat up like this one, don't worry, I'll still protect this the best I can. I will wrap it in plastic and tape and bubble wrap it. And then Canada Post, last year I could ship it for $2.09. Now I can ship it for $2.61. That's a pretty big increase, by the way. But yeah, if I went to UPS or FedEx or one of these companies, they'd probably want $20 to ship the same small letter. I'm not going to really blame anyone here. I sympathize more with the workers than I do the corporation known as Canada Post. I think the business and the industry has changed, and because perhaps Canada Post is government-based or government-run, I get it. You want to run a service for the people, but at the same time, some changes have to be made. Otherwise, you're not going to be sustainable. You can sell the best buggy whip in the world and offer it at the best price, but nobody drives buggies anymore. You must adapt. Maybe it means changing the way you do your business. Maybe there's been some positive moves. The super mailbox, great idea. It's great. Especially for someone who lives in an apartment. When people try to deliver something to you when you're not home, if it's Canada Post, you'll get I used to get a little piece of paper that says, you got to come to the post office and pick this up. Now they just put it in a super mailbox and give you the special key. But if somebody else sends it to you, they just put a little sticker that says, sorry we missed you. You must now travel 6 to 8 kilometers to your nearest depot to pick up this package. Which probably means a 3-hour walk or a $25 cab ride, which is not all that helpful when you're already kind of broke. I'm not going to say I have all the answers to Canada Post. I've heard rumblings that maybe Daily Mail is going to be scaled back. I don't have a problem with that. If you were to deliver my mail twice a week instead of 5 days a week, it wouldn't really hurt me too much, because it usually takes you 2 or 3 weeks just to ship a letter across the street anyways. Ultimately, though, I think the issue goes back to a lot of large corporations. They treat their workers poor. And they don't value employees. When my parents graduated from university, way back in the 1960s, as soon as they stepped out the door with their degree, there was 15 to 20 companies lining up to offer them lifetime jobs with security, a scale, and an opportunity to grow and advance to maximize their potential. Today's generation, and my generation, we walk out of school and it's temp assignment or contract, or sorry, we're laying people off right now, or we don't really need you. We got more managers than we have workers, but that's more important because we don't really care if we get the work done. Managers need to keep our own jobs. I don't know. Is Canada Post top heavy? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't done an audit. Maybe it's time we send the auditors in. And I gotta say, I'm glad there's no longer a monopoly on that type of service. Because if you do have problems with a government-run entity that don't know what they're doing, or they're corrupt, or they're incompetent, or they're a combination of all three, the option is there. I can go to my nearest UPS or FedEx, and I can still ship products across the street or across the world. And no, I refuse to use shitty companies like Dragonfly and ICS, even if they are cheaper, because they are unreliable. So if you're watching this, please don't ever use Dragonfly or ICS if you ship something to me, because I probably won't ever get it. If it does, it's going to get lost. They'll put a sticker in my apartment lobby that says, "Sorry, we missed you," but they won't even put your name on it. You have to guess. The guessing game. There's 500 different apartments, buildings here, and you got to guess whether that's your package or your neighbor's package or the guy up on the 12th floor. Just kidding. We don't have 12-story buildings here in this part of the world. That's a whole other story. But ultimately, loyalty, brand loyalty, company loyalty, employee loyalty, the stuff that my parents grew up on, the baby boomer stuff, not anymore. I'm not loyal to anyone. I'm loyal to, well, it has to be me. There's nobody else that's going to pay my bills for me. If Canada Post cannot be counted on, I'm going to have to consider a permanent switch to the way I do business, the way I buy and sell hockey cards, or anything else for that matter. The email has replaced the postal regular letter. It's kind of sad, because it used to be fun getting letters from people. Growing up as a little kid, Grandma would send a letter through the mail. Or somebody, my aunt, would be on vacation and you get a postcard from Portugal like 2 months after she already went on the trip. But it was still fun to get those things. Now, not so much. You get flyers, junk, garbage, waste of paper. It's ironic. I embrace the electronic world. Heck, I pioneered the 2002 Electronic Service Delivery Government of Ontario program. They brought in a bunch of young professionals thinking that the wave of the future is for government services to go online. You don't have to come and line up at 20 different offices to renew this and renew that, or to buy this permit. You're going to be able to do it all online. And I was one of these bright, young, talented people who was going to make that happen. And then the government changed. Dalton McGuinty replaced Mike Harris, and the whole program took a big flop, big nosedive. And all those great jobs that were going to be available at the end of the internship went down the toilet. So we just moved to Newfoundland and transitioned to Jennifer and carried on with life. By the way, that's probably not the easiest path to take if you're looking for work and you live in Toronto. But I digress. Yes, Canada Post needs to sit down with the union. They need to hammer out a long-term agreement, and they need to hurry up and get it done. Because when you keep going on strike every 6 months or every couple of years, whatever it is, whether we like you or not isn't the issue. The issue is, well, what's the word? Progress? Necessary? Sufficient? The people I sell hockey cards to don't really care which company I use. They just want to make sure they get their products in a timely manner for a reasonable shipping cost. I really hate having to charge $20 to ship something to somebody when it could just be a $2 stamp. But for other reasons, it requires extra security, like a tracking number. That's something I would change if I was in Canada Post. It's a major jump from $3 to send a letter to $15 to $20 to send a letter with tracking. All these private companies are going to charge you $20 to ship anything, no matter what it is. Why don't you invent the $8 tracked letter? You might do really well with that, guys. Especially for those who are on eBay, where it's no longer, I hate to use the term, gentleman's agreement. if you sell something on eBay, no matter who your buyer is, they could receive your product in the mail and then say, I never got it. And eBay will force the seller to refund the money. Which is why more and more frequently we're seeing people on eBay insist that no matter what it is they're selling you, that you must pay $20 to have it shipped for that tracking. If somebody buys a hockey card worth $2, are they going to want to spend $20 on shipping? No, probably not. Anyway, those are my thoughts for the day. And I can't believe I've rambled on for 10 minutes because most of my videos lately have been more quiet and short. But I've got a lot to say because it's been a very, very frustrating year. Heck, it's been a very frustrating 7 or 8 years in a row for me. And doing nothing is not going to change that. So, rule of thumb, whatever Dad tells me to do the opposite. And you'll probably do better. So, if my dad's advice is to shut up and stay quiet and stop going on the internet, then I'm going to come up on here a little bit more often. So what do you think of that, folks? Hi, Dad. Have a good night, everyone.